Hi, this is Laurel. I'm a resident here at Zen Mountain Monastery. I'm part of the programs team, and I'm at the garden and know that you would love to see it. So I'm gonna go see if I can find Yukon and give us a tour. Let's go. Yukon.
Oh, Laurel, hello.
Hi.
This is where we go, and I have garden meetings, and where I come to take a little break now and then and get away from the hot sun. This is our little Bamboo Grove office, ZMM Bamboo Grove office. So welcome.
Thank you.
So nice to see you.
Good to be here.
Very nice to have you here.
Rudy.
This is my trusted assistant, Rudy, who takes care of the mice issue and the various rodents that we have in the garden. And Laura is an assistant as well. And Rudy is really a trusted assistant in this, in our whole gardening arena, because he spends a lot of the day with me in the garden all day.
But do you think you two could give us a tour?
I would like that very much. I would be thrilled.
Fabulous.
So please let us go now that I've had a nap and I'm refreshed
And a cat.
and ready to go. And we're going to go on in now, okay, buds? Here we go. All right, please.
Okay. Come on, Rudy.
Come on, Rude. And here we have First 72 Labors brought us this food. We should know how it comes to us. And so we enter that with that being steeped in our mind.
Yeah.
And then we have an opportunity to offer a bow. And then we walk on in.
Of those 72 labors, how many are you and how many are Rudy?
Well, you know, I've never really counted them up, you know, but we all work in this together. So the numbers don't matter. That's just a feeling of there's a lot of work to make for food, a lot of work. Okay, so down in this area here, because we have a little bit of shade from the apple trees, is where I put my lettuce and some of the mustard, and it's all mixed in. I like a very a garden that has flowers within the lettuce and within the same bed as the greens and everything together. I like a very eclectic garden.
Does that benefit the plants?
It's
aesthetic?
There are different feelings to that,
Yeah.
depending upon what kind of gardener you are. You know, and every gardener thinks that they are the only gardener who's doing the only right thing. So what you have to do is you talk to gardeners and you kind of take from them their wisdom and you pick and choose what you do. Because every space is different. The soil is different, the temperature is different, the area is so different. So that you have to start really relating to where you actually plant, where you sow your seeds. Everything in this garden is seeded. Everything is by seed. I don't get any starts. I find that you got to develop a relationship with these beings. So that's the way to do it. You water them from when they're little, absolutely little baby.
The beginning.
So that's right. So this way, here, please let me show you. So we have all of our various lettuce beds. Because we eat so much lettuce in this practice, I try and get lettuce that will create a really interesting bowl. So I've got the dark romaine with the green inside. That's a specialty lettuce. I have that curly tango there. This is a tango. I have these, this is the romaine. This is like a Lola, called a Lola lettuce, specialty lettuce. And in between, you'll notice I have all of the flowers. So I've got cosmos and marigolds. They're all coming in strong now. This is early in June. So I started a lot of these seeds at the end of February, the beginning of March. So it takes some months so that when you transplant them, they're really strong, they've got a lot of ki, and they can withstand some of the bug stuff that's going on and the various mildews and the fungus, because there's so much that can happen in a very short period of time. And then over here, you see, here's a little corner of blueberries.
Look at that.
Look at these.
They're coming in.
I have 32 blueberry plants in the garden. And I have the strawberries covered now because of the chipmunks. They're eating them all. Okay, and then coming around here, we have more blueberries.
More blueberries.
More blueberries. Under this here is a the eggplant. They're mini eggplants, and everybody wants to eat them besides us. There are a lot of bugs, and so I keep them covered. More chard. So I have chard here. I have chard over there. I have chard in another spot. Chard in the greenhouse. You know.
Popular item.
So it's a very popular. Then in here you notice these are just growing in now. So I have the sunflowers. I have snapdragons. I have teddy bear sunflowers. I have mixed in here. These haven't bloomed yet. I have lysanthias and more sunflowers.
What do you do with the flowers?
The flowers, we have 15 altars here at Zen Mountain Monastery. And those altars need to be filled with flowers as an offering and out of respect. Okay, sunflowers up here as a backdrop. This is where we compost. Compost, hugely important. Hugely important. Well, compost breaks down and turns into soil. So between the garden soil that we get from across the river and the compost here and the horse poo. Then we have this lovely willow tree here in the middle of the garden. But since the sun comes that way, over that way, it doesn't really disturb anything. And then that these grasses don't mind a little shade, and the hostas is a shade-loving plant anyway. So I wanted to show you over here. This is where this is the little Jizo garden, where you have an area once again to sit and reflect. Right here, have a seat. And we have a little pond over here. Rudy spends a lot of time there looking for frogs and snakes. These are all cattails, and so they make for a nice backdrop in the on the altars that we have all over the monastery. And this is a nice place to sit and just take the garden in. And just sitting here still, there's so much life that's going on in here all the time.
All the time.
All the time.
And you can smell it.
You can smell it.
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing. It's pretty amazing.
Well, can I ask you a question?
Please.
Since COVID happened this spring
Right.
and the quarantine,
Right.
how has that affected the garden?
Well, in one way, I started to, for the first time, I'm planting things like sweet potatoes because it's a starch and it really holds you. So I hadn't grown things. Generally, things for the garden, I grow things that are expensive to buy, right? And I also grow things that are good to grow in this particular garden. So I grow a lot of our greens. Like we're not buying any greens now. We're not buying any chard, any kale, any collards, any bok choy, any tatsoi. We're not buying any lettuce. That all comes from here. And all of those things can be pricey as they add up. So we're trying to keep costs down. And also, so I'm growing about a third more food than I did last year. And I'm still growing the same amount of flowers because I can't help it. The garden needs to be as full of flowers. You know, they help the vegetables grow. They attract all the beneficial insects, right? So you want that to be attracted to your garden. The water attracts beneficials, you know, and so you want that combination of everything to happen. So you want to plant things together, I think.
Do you always plant the same things in the same beds?
No, I often change the beds. Depending upon what's growing in there. You know, one of the few things that does like a bed that they've been in, if there has been no disease, the only one for that are tomatoes. But generally, I add new soil to every year, to every bed. This is not like a farm, and it's just a half acre. So I introduce new soil that I put on top of the old. It's a no-dig garden, which is part of a permaculture process. We do a little permaculture here.
As in you don't turn the soil?
I don't turn. It's a no-dig garden. You don't turn the soil. And so the microbes and the worms can get nice and strong and healthy. And then I add to it, right? So I'm always adding new soil. So for you to have to put different plants in different beds is not as necessary in this particular garden. But I do tend to do that anyway, just because I do that naturally. If you love this kind of thing, it's like you're like an addict. You're really like an addict. So all of these, my squashes and beets, bok choy, endive, tomatoes, another row of squash. Here are my beans. They're my string beans, my various pole beans. Yes. Over here we have our asparagus patch. Look at this coming in over here. Isn't it beautiful?
Incredible.
I got my leeks and I've got my snow peas. And they're getting ready.
Oh, yeah.
We're very excited about them. Ooh, you want to eat a couple?
Absolutely.
Here, let me see what we got in here. Here we go. Here's to you, kid.
Cheers to the plant.
Oh,
That's
you wanna
amazing.
try this? Is that amazing?
Offer one to the folks at home.
These are just coming in,
Here we
so
go.
we're looking. Yeah, I got that. Here's to you, everybody. Here. Here's to you.
To you.
There's a little snow pea. Little snow pea. You believe that? So this way. Welcome to Zen Mountain Monastery Greenhouse. And this has allowed me to seed in the end of February, beginning of March, so that we get everything seeded and growing early. So this greenhouse was a gift by the Sangha, and it's been really wonderful. So please come in. Welcome. Welcome. Welcome to the greenhouse. This is the where we do all of our seeding, where we do all of the preparations before transplanting, where we have little bites of nice little kale flowers. Yeah? Delicious. Delicious.
Thank you.
These are my gonna be hot sauce.
Oh.
Habaneros.
Oh.
Oh yeah.
Whoa.
Habaneros. I've got over here, I've got lemon drops. I've got it mixed in with some lisianthus, some flowers. Here are herbs. I've got more lisianthus in here. So here we come on out. This is an area where, in the morning I come in here early, and if it's on Hosan or something, and here you can sit on down and enjoy, the sun is in our eyes right now, but just have a cup of coffee and just enjoy the early morning garden and take it in. And so we sit here enjoying this view, and this takes us to pretty much the end of the garden. You can have a little view of the beans and in that direction. All of these wildflowers really are for the honeybees. It's a gift to them, and the honeybees are right up there. And so they come down here. They were all over the poppies today. I mean, thousands of bees all over the poppies, all over the garden really this morning.
Well, thank you so much for the tour, Yukon.
Oh, it was
I hear
pleasure.
you might be doing some Zoom sessions.
Yes.
And invite the Sangha along that might have some gardening questions for you.
Yes. We're going to be doing, what does Zen and gardening have to do with each other? We're going to be talking about that and any questions that people might have on how to pull together a garden like this. It would be my pleasure, it would be my honor to bring the Sangha in and share this with them. And meet new folks, people who are just folks that have heard about us and want to know about some gardening, some tips on gardening and what does that have to do with Zen. So thank you so much for tuning in. And I look forward to seeing you again. Our program
Thank
director.
you for coming along, and thank you for your practice.